Welcome in, guys, to the first fan cam for my channel. I have never done one before, but if you'd like to jump on and have a chat to me about the ugly win, I call it, against Essendon over at the MCG tonight. The score ended up being 46-37. As we all probably agree, it was some quite ugly kicking. 6 goals, 10-4-13. So it wasn't like the Tigers kicked really well, nor was it very well from Essendon. It was quite a scrappy, ugly game. Sometimes it was quite hard to watch, not because we weren't winning or something like that. It was more just because it was the way we were playing the football. We just didn't kick it right. It was quite lazy, sloppy, rushed. Even for experienced players, in my opinion, didn't seem to make the right decisions. There was a few times in that back line where we had, I think it was Nick Flostone, Broad, and McIntosh, 3 of our most experienced players, and they seemed to butcher it as well. So Taj kicked his first goal as well, so there was some good out of the game. Probably more bad than good, but he got through the game as well, which was really exciting. I can probably talk about his time on ground as well. I've got that percentage with me as well. It was a good mark, good setup as well. I was quite happy with it. Unfortunately, it was just a game that you probably don't want to watch on replay again, considering the outcome as well. But at the end of the day, I'm quite happy to see that we got a win. We came back. We fought hard, and we take that W. So that now leads us, I'm pretty sure, with 4 wins this year, considering we were originally told that we weren't going to have a single win at all. So that makes me a little bit happy. We finally got a win. Now I know it's against Essendon, who was quite an injured team. As a club, they're not doing quite well. I think they're up to 13 or 14 debutants just this season alone, which is quite sad for them, but we're not doing any better either. So, look, it is what it is, and I will take it as it is. So, no one seems to jump on, so I'll just break through down some of the players, how I thought they went. You know, if tonight doesn't pan out quite well for the fan cam, I'll just have it as a live video by myself. More than happy to do that no matter what. So, I'll start off with Tim Taranto. So Timmy Taranto had 34 disposals, 15 of them were kicks, 19 handballs, 7 marks, 5 tackles, 4 clearances, 410 metres gained and 86% on ground, so which is good to see. I thought we started off as a midfield. We started off quite good, but then, you know, as you could see, we tempered to die off a little bit in that second quarter, where I think we kicked 2 or 3 points. So it really wasn't that much at all. Quite a typical, in a way, Richmond game, how we started off a good quarter, just kind of got sloppy after that. And it seemed like coming into the second half, Taranto and Hopper were probably a couple of those players that seemed to want to take the ball on and go hard and actually show the players how to do it. Not that their kicking was any good either, but kind of sucked. But look, Taranto was probably his best game of the year. Almost got knocked out in that third quarter as well. But I think he's a debutant who hit him quite high. Kicked a goal as well, which is probably another thing we'll have to discuss probably a little bit later on, considering, you're probably right there, mate. Yeah, it was a horrible game, but finished off Veloster. Well, I would say if you're going to bring up that, Veloster probably had that really good save near the end with that punch as well, which made me quite proud to watch him probably save the game for us as well. So happy to see that. So back to, Timmy Taranto, you're probably up there, probably for 3 votes for me as well. So after that, probably just go down the line. We'll just go down the line, go through some players. If you guys want to throw some comments in between, I'm happy to hit them and read them out to you guys just to see what they are. If they're anything valid, we'll talk about that as well. If you want to, guys, you can jump on. The link should be just there for you if you want to jump on. If it doesn't work, just let me know and I'll try and work it out. I haven't done this before, so this is quite new, doing a fan cam, but we'll see how we go. Dion Prestia, he was kind of making me pull my hair out a few times. Today's game just started off quite good, then tend to die off a little bit with kicking. I kind of got a feeling maybe it would have been because of the umpires, because the umpires weren't that great. I think we all could probably say here that the umpires were pretty shit. Yeah, you're right there, Paul. A win is a win, and we'll take him. We can. Yeah, well, we've got 4 of them now, so we're doing better than clubs that are meant to be ahead of us. So I agree with that, Paul, 100%. Yeah, just you can see that I think it was the last quarter where he got pinned for holding the ball. Mind you, that I'm pretty sure he was held, tripped, and was popped in the head a few times. And he got real angry and did the whole trying not to swear at the umpire, but he did. That's what probably most of the players felt like through this game because that's how shit the umpiring was. We all can hands down probably say the umpiring was pretty shit. So, look, one bad spot there. Yeah, ugly win is a good win. I don't care if we win by a point every single game. Winning is still winning. You still get the 4 points. Still gives some of these young players a bit of hope that we're actually going somewhere as well. So, yeah. Anyway, so then I went to next one is Jaden Hopper as another player. I think probably had a really good game as well. I think we all could probably say that there was a few moments where you carried the team as well. Quite happy with his effort. He seemed to kick that miracle bloody goal. We could all probably agree that was a miracle goal. I remember when we got the mark, I turned the screen off for a moment and gone, he's not going to kick that. But I went, okay, pause, had a few seconds off, jumped back on, and he had snagged the goal, and I was really impressed. And happy for Hopper and Taranto. If you think that the two, just Hopper and Taranto, probably just talking about even their season this year, a lot of hate had been thrown over them over the last couple of years since Richmond brought him over. That they weren't going to make us good, they were going to hurt us. I think we all can agree this year that they have showed us quite well that they are pushing these young players, leading forward. And what's most impressive between Hopper and Taranto is the fact that they kick goals now. Last few years, they wouldn't kick any goals. And it was really good to see these two boys kicking some goals because it gives them reward for effort as well. So, yeah. Now, Skadoosh, what was that one there, mate? 100% the win. So many good things. Fantastic for the team morale. Yep. Also potential players like Reed. Yeah, mate, I agree on the Reed. I'm just not sure if we're in the hunt for Reed anymore. I'm not sure if the club wants to give up, the picks and maybe the money that he's after because he's after quite a fair bit of money from all the reports. I think it's something like close to like $1 million+ a year. I'm just not sure if the club wants to put all that money into one player. Look, I know we can do the whole back end play with Reed, but like you are right, it does show young players or someone like Butters that, hey, the club is going in the right direction. Do you want to jump on board? And, by the time you get into your new prime, you'll have made some good money and the club could be pushing towards finals as well. So, yeah, you moved on from Reed as well, mate. Yep, I'm with you there. Definitely with you there, mate. You've moved on from Reed. But, yeah, the potential of other players, yeah. I've made a few videos of a few players that Richmond could go after, and maybe this is a good sign for them. 4 games in, we still have to play, I think it's West Coast and North Melbourne. And I honestly probably thought that the West Coast and North Melbourne games were a higher potential for us to win more than this West Coast, this Essendon game was, just because, in my opinion, Essendon has showed probably a bit more than those other 2 clubs have. So, end of the day, who knows? There's a chance we might win another 2 games or a game. I'm happy with 4. Now I just want to go into next year, and can we win 5 games next year or 6 games next year? And just incremental comes to the bloody word. Small improvements for the rest of the couple of years coming anyway. So that would make me a lot happier if we could do something along those lines. Then I went to Jaden Short. I know he had 1 goal, 25 disposals. 19 kicks, so that's 6 handballs, 10 marks, 1 tackle, 497 metres gained. Not sure with Jaden Short if I was happy with his game or not. I think he was just quite up and down as the game went on. He seemed to just kind of revert back to what he was doing before he went out with that injury. Just got the boot on the ball and just thumped it as far as he could put it on his foot. Sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't help us. But look, he came back. He hasn't re-hurt himself, which is a good sign. And unfortunately, with the amount of players gone down, he's probably going to get a game there. I was just more shocked. I don't know about if you guys were. I'm more shocked that he was named straight in the back line again. So I really thought maybe we could have had the idea of, do you put him on a wing? Do you put him at half forward? Because Luke Trainer could have gone back. And Luke Trainer had a magnificent game, in my opinion. But could have Jane Short gone forward and helped out the forward line. Because in speaking of the forward line, it wasn't a great game for the forward line, especially considering, I think, as I recall, like inside 50 effectiveness ended up being something like close to like 7%. I think I don't think it comes up on here, but it came on my phone, and it was something like we had 43 inside 50s, and we kicked 6 goals, and it was something like 10%. Now, Essendon weren't any better. I think they were 53 inside 50s, and they kicked, what was that, 4 goals? Yeah, and they were down to like 7.5%. So it was a good one. It was an ugly, very ugly forward line. Jonty was clutch. I do agree on there, but he gave me a heart attack. He was sitting there for that set shot. I don't know about you, but I was like, I don't trust him. I just don't have a trust. And the stat come up on the screen in this year's season. Now, the stat is impressive in a way, but at the same time, it hurt you a bit. He was, from set shot goals this year, he's 5 goals, 14. So it kind of was like, oh, shit, he's not there. But like that shows you that he's given himself, going into that was 20, now 20 attempts at goal. Set shot, sorry. So you go and ask the question, what if that turns around next year and it's 14-5? But I'm just impressed he's getting that many opportunities in his first year. But I will have to say, coming into next year, the forward line has to be fixed. It was atrocious. Sims shanked it. I was watching him, and they're like, "Oh, he's kicked some goals in his junior days." I was like, "Yeah, I just don't trust him," and he doesn't even get a point. So it definitely seems to me that I don't know if it's who the forward line coach is. When I saw I don't know if it's I think it was the halftime break. It was Chris Newman, which is a little bit concerning for me because Chris Newman was a defender. So why is he the forward coach? You've got to bring somebody in to fix the goal kicking yips, because there's been a few games probably where Sims and Jonty, probably could have nearly won the game just themselves off their own boot. With considering how much those two actually can get the ball quite well. So it's just a bit of a concern considering how badly our forward line was going. So, but Payfev, yep. Not that Fair was the greatest. He was a good goal kicker, but he wasn't the most accurate either. But you got to get somebody in because we don't know. I know there was a talk of Tom Lynch getting a new contract, but he's gone in a year, and Tom Lynch isn't the greatest goal kicker anymore. So that's got to be slightly fixed, in my opinion. You definitely have to find a way to fix something with that goal kicking because he was atrocious today. Like 10 goals, 6 isn't just not what we need. Lloyd, well, you think it wouldn't hurt if you could ask the question? I know he's coaching. I think it's at Hanbury where Taj and Harry Armstrong came from. I'm not sure. Maybe if you want to steps away from that. He's also quite doing a lot of stuff in the media, but I would love it because he taught Harry Armstrong, and Harry Armstrong is quite a good goal kicker as well from set shot. So it's probably something that I wouldn't be against. Just finding somebody. It's got to find something because it's how many times did we reckon we butchered from coming in, say, about the 70 metre mark outside our 50, coming into it and didn't go near anyone, or it went to one of their players. So I don't know whether that's structurally from our forward line, or is that just the young players just haven't quite worked out how to lead, or is it our mids coming into our 50? Because it was a fair bit of things like that I would definitely have to say that needs to be fixed or addressed, considering how ugly it bloody was. So stats-wise, I'll go through some more players after, but I'm just trying to change it up so it's not just all players, it's a bit of stats as well. We can have a discussion about what we did wrong with the stats. I'll share that link if that's going to work for you. Did that work? Not sure. No. No, that's a discount one. We don't want to touch that one. Just trying to get to see if anybody wants to jump on and have a chat with me. So, look, disposals, we actually won for once, which was probably a good thing, considering we normally don't win them. We normally get smashed in them. It was above our season average as well. We had 381. Now, was that because at one stage where I'm pretty sure it was Essendon kind of took the charge, they were in front by about 6 or 7. We got the ball, and we just kind of just kicked it around, messed around with it, didn't seem to really want to take the forward momentum. And there's a few times where you can actually watch it where we're running through the centre, and which is all we're asking for the players to do is to get in through that centre with some speed. But it seems more that when we were going forward, we went, oh, crap, I don't want to go that way now. And we just went out to the wing. And we made ourselves have to kick even longer or more touches now. So I don't know if that's just because of the play style or what, or is that because when they went forward, it wasn't working? So it seems like to me today it was just more chip, kick around, get it, and then we'll take our time, which didn't work because we don't have that. We don't have that Tom Lynch style forward to thump it in and hope to God that he will mark it. But at the same time, I'm just hoping to see some sort of small improvements from the club as we go along, because otherwise I feel like we are going to never get any better as a club if we are struggling to go forward with the ball as well. So here we go. What's this one? Just watching the KO Mini. I bet Jonty kicks every goal now. Yeah, probably, mate. Probably. Well, I kicked I'll get to Jonty in a minute, but yeah. Disposal effectiveness, which is quite even, 71% each, which is quite low. Definitely something we need to improve on. And more annoying, it wasn't just from the young players. It also came from experienced players who were kicking the ball, in my opinion, and just butchering the shit out of it. And then players I really didn't think would butcher it or do butcher it very often. So I don't know whether if I wasn't at the game, so if any of you guys were at the game, can you tell me if was it raining, was it just really muggy, or was it just like that dewy coldness? It just seemed to me they couldn't kick it straight and just shanked it and it went sideways. It was just a bit annoying after a while. So I'm just going to repost that link to jump on if anyone wants to jump on and have a chat with me. That should be the link. It used to be right there in the comments below. Happy to have anybody. If you want to jump on but you don't want to be seen in the camera, you can jump on and just don't click the camera and just have your microphone on. Always happy to do that. I know some people are a bit camera shy. No problems whatsoever. Just happy to have someone jump on it and maybe give their opinion on some players and maybe the game and how they felt about the game. Hopefully that link works. If it doesn't work, let me know. I'll see what I can do about it. So, well, there you go. Yeah. So it says here inside 50 effectiveness for the game ended up being was at 32.6 to 29. So that just goes to show you that going inside 50 for both teams tonight was pretty atrocious. So we'll move back to some stats on some players. If you guys have any players that you were impressed by, liked, or want to have a chat about, just put in the comments below and we'll have a little quick chat about that as well and see how we go. I'm hoping if nobody jumps online, I'll probably run for another 10 or so minutes and I'll jump off there and then I'll do a couple of videos, normal videos later on tomorrow probably, or coming into Monday for review of the game. different way, obviously, this time. So please say Nick Flost on his 250th game, played a pretty good game. A few times going that back line was quite sloppy. I don't know about if everyone on here, if you thought the same thing as well. He ended up with 23 disposals. So 15 kicks, 8 handballs, 8 marks. So obviously the marking was quite obvious. That just comes from the butchery from the club, both sides. 4 tackles, he had a 2 goal assists as well, which was quite good to see. Obviously, he means he floated the ground a fair bit as well, which we probably kind of need his kicking. Yeah, I do agree, mate. I do agree. That's 100%. Would have been nice to see Taj go in the middle. I do agree. But at the same time, look, I'll look for Taj. Yeah, where is Taj Houghton? I had that. Everyone was kind of asking. There you go. So, look, the probably thing about that is, mate, why you don't see him do too much. He only played time on ground percentage-wise was 56%, which is, look, the next closest person to that is James Trezise at 27, and he was the sub, which to me shows maybe that Taj should have been the sub. He sort of subbed off and left Tyler Sonsie on, but I would have loved to seen Taj go in the middle. Or near the end when we had kicked that goal, I think we were up before Jonty kicked that other one. I was sitting there watching the game going, somebody put Morris Rioli or Seth Campbell in that middle because it was just Jack Ross, Jacob Hopper, and Dion Prestia. And I was just like, no, it's too slow. Bring in some speed. And then you are right, Taj Houghton, in my opinion, would have been a great candidate to throw into the game because he would have injected speed into the game for us. And I think we could have used that. It would have not saved us because we were winning anyway, no matter what. Like we were showing quite well how good we were. We weren't, I wouldn't say falling behind, but we weren't struggling. it's a broken record for me right now. That we keep going with the same midfield. I don't know if that's anybody else's thought, but it just feels like we do the same. Or we'll just do the same 5 guys or 4 guys, and we'll let them play it. And if it doesn't change and we don't seem to be winning, who cares? We're not going to change it. We're just going to leave the same players over and over again. Who cares if we don't win a game? We're just going to play with the same stupid thing. And it annoys me. I don't know about you guys. If it annoys you, because it drives me up the wall because it's not working. So do something different. And I don't know if you guys have that same feeling as I do. You know, the whole saying of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and hoping it's a different result. And it's not. Besides tonight, it's a different result. Is that because of Richmond or is that because of Essendon as well? Because if we're honest, probably at one stage I really thought Essendon was just going to put the foot down and just blow us away. But no, we didn't seem to do that or want to do that at all. So we'll do a couple of probably good honorable mentions. I've seen a few people mention him, but Taylor Young for his first game back was quite impressive. Look, he had 18 disposals, 7 handballs, 8 marks. It's probably what we thought or hoping what Jacob Blight was going to do the past 2 weeks. He just didn't seem to do it. Young just came in and he was just confident to get the ball on his own and had no problems kicking the ball, handballing the ball. He definitely looked like he didn't miss a single step since he was in or out injured. I know I use the I word, but I just think the stage right now, that's out the window. But look, Young had 89% time on ground. So that just goes to show you that his body has obviously been playing in the VFL quite a fair bit. Showed he was quite right and good to go. So good return, didn't get hurt, and definitely see that. Definitely can see that he'd probably be playing next week, and happy. I don't think Bolter can play next week because it's a West Coast game over at West Coast. And here we go. Yeah, Sonsie was pissed about the sub. I agree. I agree. With Sonsie being, I I didn't like the idea of Sonsie being subbed out. I didn't think he did anything wrong. And I really thought if you're going to give, like, Sonsie was subbed out with 59% time on ground. So if you're going to, like, do that, you may as well taken Taj out of it. I know Taj is a different player, different style, but you may have well left Sonsie on there and taken Taj off and gone, look, you got your 3 quarters, or two and a bit over 2 quarters. Next week, you won't sub you off. We'll give you 4 quarters. And a full run at, up to 70%. So I can see, and so to me, Sonsie didn't play a bad game. Like, Sonsie had one behind, almost kicked a goal. He had 14 disposals, 9 kicks, 5 handballs, 6 marks as well. And I think a few times where Sonsie had the ball, and previously the players had been getting the ball and just wanted to rush and kick it, and it wasn't doing us any favours. So to me, he just went, oh, well, I'm not going to worry about that. I finally worked out how to do that one. It wasn't working for us, so he went with, oh, well, I'll take the time, I'll hold the ball, and I won't rush and just kick the ball and put our defence back under pressure again, because it was just going down and coming back again. So I do agree, mate, that Sonsie probably has every right to be pissed that he was made a sub, because he didn't deserve to be made a sub, no matter what anybody says. So, look, Luke Trainer kicked 2 points. That probably pisses him off because Trainer loves a goal. But he seemed to be a player that was willing to mark the ball, or was putting his head over the ball to mark it. Puts his body on the line. He is definitely a grit and grind player. He'll crawl and scrap and crawl to get whatever he can to win. It's a great mentality to have. I guarantee you, we could all probably say with our hands on our chest that guarantee you he does not get a NAB Rising Star vote at all this week. So I can tell you that right now, he won't get a NAB Rising Star vote whatsoever. I just don't know whether the AFL has it out for Richmond. No matter what our young players seem to do, we never seem to get another NAB Rising Star. Obviously, besides Sam Lawler's first game, which is still rated as the best game for a rookie. I think it's up in the top 10 or maybe up in the top 3 best debut games or first games for a rookie ever. So, but Luke Trainer plays the most consistent rookie through the year, maybe, or for Richmond. That's a guarantee right there. And probably ends up being maybe a draft steal. I don't know if you guys agree. Harry Armstrong was probably up there. We all thought would probably be a draft steal because, Harry Armstrong was meant to be a top 10 going to the Ds. But Luke Trainer was meant to be I think he was rated to be top 2 to go to North Melbourne, who he did follow. Actually, he was a North Melbourne supporter. But obviously he had the concussions. I don't know whether that's true or was Richmond just giving out some whispers to clubs to make them not want to pick Luke Trainer, and Richmond just took him just for shits and gigs. So Ben Miller, I probably have to say that's another great game by Ben Miller. I didn't. I'm a big Ben Miller fan. I have been since we drafted him. But there was a lot of hate going around Miller on his ball usage. I believe it's the third quarter. He was kicking it out, and he kicked it across the 50 on about the 55-minute mark in between 2 players, hit a player right up, and then opened up the game, and we just took off. So that is another, in my opinion, another good game by Miller, and probably, to my opinion, has to be up there pushing for in the best, maybe top 5 this year. I know he was criticised at the start of the year that he's never had a top 10 game, or not top 10 year for the club. So, look, I was really wrapped with his effort and what he gave us, the intensity, marking, as we know, he seems to be probably up there with the best one-on-one. I think last year he won, but you couldn't beat him. It was like 21%. That's how good he was. You just couldn't stop him at 21%. So, look, his stats probably don't jump out the page disposal-wise, but it was 14 disposals. So 11 kicks. It was at 3 handballs, 8 marks, which is what you want as a key defender. Now, they also didn't have any proper key forwards like the big, tall, traditional what Western Bulldogs had and what Adelaide's had. But even when he's played those games, he's been good. 3 tackles, 1 clearance, which is quite surprising going from a defender. 316 metres gained, and he spent 94% time on ground. So I'm actually quite happy to see that he actually spent a fitted. Doesn't come off the ground very often, so it shows you that he's durable and obviously has the cardiovascular system to run the game out. So Taj Houghton, he had 1 goal, 10 disposals, 6 kicks, 4 handballs, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 1 clearance. 218 metres gained, and he still looks 56% time on ground, which obviously isn't that much at all. But he definitely seemed like a bit of a genie in the bottle in today's game. Look, even the commentators, Gary Lyon and I, were saying he was just doing things. Some of those handballs he did were just really, fast and quick, where that one-touch player, which is what originally people have been saying about Taj Houghton, that he was that one-touch, quick little handball, get it out and go. So, look, I was happy he played. I know a lot of people were probably, I don't know if the word is angry, but they were a bit frustrated that we were taking the chance on him after 2 full games and a half a game as well. So you wouldn't even say it's a full 3 games to get under his belt. Are we happy with that he only got 2.5 games under him? Like I said on one of the videos I did, I think it was the ins and outs of the game, people were saying they were a bit annoyed. Look, I trust the medical staff. I know we've had issues because of Sam Lawler and Josh Smiley, Harry Armstrong. But I just think Taj has probably been given more time than most players. Gave him a mini preseason, eased him in, and just didn't miss a beat. And he's got some bloody hops on him because that mark when he kicked that goal, I honestly thought he was going to sit on that player's head. Is how high he got up as well. So quite happy with that as well. So I will never say no to not having Taj play. So probably another one that I have probably said like a few times in people's Twitters today or tonight. And I'm annoyed that he didn't go forward or go midfield, sorry. Considering what he did last week prior, and it quite annoyed me how he didn't get to go forward. But Morris Morelli Jr., I can't deny his effort ever because he had the ball, missed it. Essendon, I think it was McGrath, got it back, and he didn't stop and he just chased McGrath and tackled him and brought him to ground. So it showed that that's the 1-2 punch that you get. Look, it sucks. He kicked 1 behind, 9 disposals, 7 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks, 2 tackles, and the crazy part is I reckon he had more tackles than that. I think we all can agree. Well, if not, it was the perceived bloody pressure from him because he was insane today with his pressure, his effort, and his intent. And that's all I'm asking for, honestly, from Rioli. I'm annoyed that he doesn't got the ground. That pressure, I would love to see what his pressure rating is when he's up the ground and chasing and tackling because I think we could really use it in the midfield, especially when they was getting near the end. I was really like, come on, guys, inject a bit of speed into him. So that kind of sucked with that. So, look, and then go to some team stats here. Look, I'm only reading off the AFL app. Probably one that's really starting to bug me. I don't know about everybody. As a Richmond fan, the clearance work probably needs to be cleaned up. We got slapped again in that. Not slapped. At one stage in a quarter, we were 1 to their 6. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day, but quite exciting, obviously. And stressful. I swear to God, I was losing hair. Hit-outs surprisingly lost 28-40. I really thought Nank had him there, but I think that probably was another one that irritated me is that Big Goldstein just seemed to outrun every single bloody ruckman that we had because there was a time where I think it was Nank or Sims was behind him and they had nowhere to go, and then you could just see giant Goldstein lumbering his way over to the far flank, got the ball, and they were on their way. So that probably what annoyed me probably with Sims and Toby Nankervis.
it just seems that there was two of them, and look, their second ruckman got chewed up when it was on Nank every single time. But it sucked that they didn't find a way to capitalise on that or make sure that you followed Goldstein, because he's still, I know he's 30, I think he's 30 something bloody 7. He just still seems to find a way to get that ball and run non-stop. Centre clearances was 3 to 9. So look, we were very well below our season average. They were a tad below. We normally get about 9.6 and they're about 10.6. We got 3 to then 9. So I don't know whether that's just who we have or what, but we need to work out some sort of way to fix the clearances and centre clearances, because that's probably what hurt us as well a fair bit. We did win stoppage clearance, 28 to 24, and then just clearances in general. We ended up losing by 2, so 33 to 31. So just a few things we need to work on. Turnovers was quite high for our season. They were perfectly on their clearances. They were 66 to our 72. So it probably didn't help us either. Definitely didn't help us whatsoever. We were quite sloppy there. So I said earlier that we were a bit too much, in my opinion, with the marking, how we chipped it around a fair bit. That quite seemed to bug me a fair bit. But, if you think about this, 113 marks to 86. And we normally only average 86 marks. So that just goes to show you how much we were just I hate to swear, but how much we were fucking around with that ball, because that's what it seemed like. And a few times when we did that chip mark thing, it just got us in more trouble than it needed to be. So, but there is some good coming out of this game. Look, marks inside 50. 10 to 8, and we probably would have had a lot more. I know Kaczynski dropped a sitter for a player he's been in the system for quite some time. I really thought he would have marked that ball. And then he had another mark inside 50. Then he decided that the good idea was to handball it to Sims, which he could have gone back. We know he won by 9, but he could have gone back and had a set shot, slowed the whole entire game down. They may have kicked the sealer. It could have been even a bigger sealer. Put us up by 16 or 15, just someone like that at his experience and his amount of times he's been in the system. I thought he would have known the moment, taken the moment, going, no, I'll slow down and I'll take the shot. But that wasn't great. So tackles inside 50 got a little bit better this week, 7, which is right above our season average. They got 12, so they were above their season average, which definitely isn't what we want as a club, but we improved from last week, because I'm pretty sure last week we had like 1 or 2 to Bulldogs, I think. Adelaide, and they had a shit ton. So there's got to be some sort of improvement there, which was a little bit. So just a bit of concerning signs of it. From what I know of, there's been no injuries. I haven't heard that anyone was hurt, actually was medically hurt, who we might be in doubt for. Yeah, nil for Richmond. So nil injuries for Richmond, which is actually a first, which feels like it. Unfortunately, Martin for Essendon and Setterfield went down with a foot and a knee. So we finally came out this week unscathed, which we probably actually bloody need, considering if you look at the VFL team, I think the VFL we only had 4 or 5 AFL listed players playing in the VFL, which was quite low. So definitely something that's some sort of good news for once. I think Mansell was quite a quiet game for Ryan Mansell. I think he was one thing that started to bug me with Mansell is he was too busy trying to fight Robert. Is it Robert? I think it is, from Essendon, one of the rising star players. He was too busy, stuck in the idea of wanting to get in a punch on with him, and I think that took him out of the game, and gave away a couple of dumb free kicks as well, which I think Mansell was probably one of Mansell's knocks on him right now for his career. He's a bit hot-headed and he tries to get in too many fights, which I don't like, and that needs to be improved on. Look, besides that, we can say Kaczynski didn't have a great game. Sims probably didn't have a great game. He's still
it was hard to say, considering he played on the ruck a fair bit. He got 0 hitouts, so that was a bit of a concern for him. But look, he's a slow improver. Seth Campbell probably didn't have a great game either. I'm just going to start winding this down. Tyler Sonsie was fine. Luke Traynor, Toby Nankervis. Look, Sam Banks had another good game. That dashing running on goal was great to see. He had 1 goal, 20 disposals. What's that? Oh, thanks, mate. There we go. Sorry, we had 6 AFL listed players in a VFL. That is, that's still quite staggering to see how many players we've had to drop out, considering I think they named, 7 new players to come in that hadn't played. So hopefully that can change soon, which is obviously a good sign, as then you can probably say in the next coming weeks, we're probably going to get more young players will go back into the VFL, and we'll start to see some better stuff. Yeah, I do agree, mate. Definitely kick more than 6 to 8 goals a game. Look, I said at the start of the year, when it comes to the goal kicking, the club itself needs to average at least as a starting point. Obviously, we are a young side. None of these players are going to be stars right now. But as a club, I think the goal needs to be 3 goals a quarter. If you can kick 3 goals, we can kick 3 goals a quarter. It gives you close to 12 to 10 every game. If you look at how the season's going this year with goal kicking, if you can kick 12 goals, you can nearly win a game. Because I could probably jump over to the fixtures just for this week, and you win a game. So you look at right now, if you look at the Gold Coast versus Collingwood game, they kicked 10 goals 9 to 8 goals 15. So if you do kick 12 goals, you're a higher chance to win. So it's a problem why the scoring is so low in today's game. When they originally brought in the stand rule. They brought in different rules like marking, how you couldn't push people. You could push people in the back slightly now, to allow players to kick more goals. And it's done the opposite to me. I think the whole making players stand on the mark, the 6-6 rule hasn't stopped the whole players going down and blocking up the back line. I think it hasn't made any difference on the scoring. I think scoring's at a low. Again, like a season low. So our first half and our last quarter have been good last month, but poor, which isn't surprising if you think about it, considering if you think of a first quarters, probably the players are a bit fresher, ready to go. And then generally we've been going up against good teams and they get their rhythm back. They kind of work us out quite quickly. What our game style is, they see that the players are quite young. Their attention span for what they are, it doesn't seem to hold on as long. And they get away with it. So look, there's another game today. The Freo Hawthorn game. If we kick 12 goals, you pretty much win there. Freo won, but you could almost be in a game against Freo and Hawthorn. So, and look, tomorrow you got North Melbourne versus Melbourne, and that's probably going to be a very low scoring game as well. So, okay. Well, VFL's a bye next week. Wow, geez, the VFL has a lot of buys. I don't know about you guys, but I swear they've had 4 or 5 already. So, quite sad in a way, but probably maybe not bad for some of the players who are coming back next week, but they get an extra week off to rest their bodies. So, I do agree. And I look forward to probably getting Gray and Armstrong, and hopefully Smiley does come back. I think the report was he's still 3 to 4 weeks away. So, I think it's 1 to 3, and I think he's on the higher end. So maybe after the VFL bye, we'll see Smiley come back into the VFL. But I'm pretty keen to see Harry Armstrong come back. It's probably one of the players I'm really happy to see. So there you go, 4th lowest combined total between 2 clubs tonight. Does not surprise me. And in Richmond and Essendon's defence, Essendon is injury and Richmond is so injury-riddled, but also we are so young as a club as well. So it's not surprising that the games was very sloppy. Like I said, was anybody at the game? Because I just want to know, was it really wet or dewy out there? Or was it humid? Because it just seemed to be that we couldn't really seem to freaking kick accurate or mark it or anything like that. It just seemed like the ball was wet
it looked like a wet weather game. That's just how it looked like it was played. So goal reviews have also, I do agree. Yeah, it's probably can say it's in a way it's done a bit of both. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But I think the problem with the goal review bullshit is in today's game, it slows the game down so much and it doesn't allow the game to flow as quick. And the game is now, what did they say it was? It's like 45 seconds to a minute longer than it was the year before, and it's the same thing repeatedly. It's just they don't give the confidence to the goal umpires. They don't turn around and just go, look, if you think it's a goal, call it a goal. But the boundary umpires can come in and just go, I think it's touched. We need to review it. And then you're having a review knowing every freaking goal we have. So it is a concern on that as well. But look, I'll take a win. It's an ugly win, but it's still a win nonetheless. So, look, I don't like how we won as a club, but at the end of the day, I'm happy we won because now Taj got to celebrate a win. Who else got to win? Look, Nick Flostone, the 250th. His 250th game, he got to celebrate a win as well. As a Richmond legend, we can probably say, and he had that goal-saving spoil as well. But that is probably, some positives out of the game. I think the other negative I want to bring up, it's probably plateaued itself out near the end. But free kick count. Now, I did see I was quite angry on Twitter about it. I watched in a span of that 10 seconds, I watched Hopper get hit high, tripped, and he handled the ball away. And then after he handled the ball away, he was dragged down without the ball. And then 30 seconds later, I watched a Essendon player get tackled and both his arms were pinned and the ball fell out, hit the ground, and they didn't call it hold the ball. That's another thing. I think it's causing issues as well. The AFL, this holding the ball bullshit needs to be fixed. A lot of times I watch players go in, get tackled inside the 50, and they don't call holding the ball. It is just needs to be adjusted. But it ended up being 16-22, and I'm pretty sure at one stage it was like 7-16 or something like that going into halftime. I know CB from Tiger Footycast, he posted up there that it was atrocious. And look, if you were Essendon, it looked like at one stage you could get a free kick no matter what you did. And it was just ugly. So, yeah, look, with that, I probably don't agree. Yes and no, 50%, 50-50, because you just don't know what Eagles are going to bring out every week. I know we got to go over to Optus. Oh, shoot, got to go. There's a microphone over there. We've got to go over to Optus Stadium and play over there, which is travelling. Young players are quite tired. They might not be able to do it as much. But you just don't know what West Coast is going to bring out. Every week is different, and it's no different to us. One week, it looks like you're going to get a good game from West Coast, and they'll give you 2 good quarters, and then they just die off. So, and then we've got North Melbourne straight after that. So look, round 18. What's this one here from Steve? Boulder can't come back in on his VFL game. Was it poor? Oh, some of the things I saw, apparently Noel Bolter, they were saying Noel Bolter was the better player and a good player in the VFL. So, look, he can't come back in. I think he's out for another week because we have to travel. So, yeah. So, next week we have to go to Optus Stadium and play a night game. So, he can't play next week no matter what because it's in a state anyway and he can't be back at home for his night curfew. I think that ends at the end of this month. I don't think it's going to matter by then, but he'll miss that game because of the night curfew. And look, we're somehow, which is crazy. This is crazy. We're not at the odds to win it. Eagles are $1.67 to our $2.22. So do I skip one, mate? Shivers, I must have. So round 18. Oh, it's jumped ahead. Hang on. Pies after Eagles. Oh, shit. That's not good. So we got the Pies after. So we got Pies after. Yeah, okay. So round 19, we take on West Coast over there. And then, what's that? Pies at MCG. So Oh, we actually have someone jumping on. I'll wait till he's ready. But no. Where are we? How you going, mate?
Yeah, very well. How are you?
Oh, a bit. I don't know how you could call today's game, good or bad. It was hard to call. It's good we won, but I would say it's probably one of the ugliest games I've seen us play in a very long time. What about you? You reckon it was? You were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I just got home from it. That was a
What do
shocking
you
game
reckon?
of football. It was a
Yeah,
shocking game of
not happy
football.
with it.
If I had to watch it back for research purposes, I would wear a hoodie and I'd wear it backwards so I couldn't see it.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah, was it wet there, or was it cold, or was it? It just seemed like no one could kick a ball straight or mark a ball at all.
It was a nice night there. It wasn't wet or anything, but I went onto the ground because I'm part of the cheer squad, so I do the banner before the game most weeks.
Oh,
and the ground was damp. It was wet, and when the dew came in, it would have got worse. So that might have contributed to it. But I think what we saw was two bottom sides that made a lot of errors.
Yeah, I was saying that before. That this was like, I think it was like an equal. Someone was saying before, it's like the equal lowest scoring of two teams in a long time. And I was like, well, look at the stage. Richmond are injured and quite young, and then Essendon is injured more than any club in the game. And I think today they had made another debutant, which makes like 12 or 13 just this season.
Yep. Well, they've had after tonight, they've had 41 players used for the year, which is number one, and we're second on 39, which is equal second. So we're down to the very bottom of our list at the moment, and that we're not contending sides anyway. But,
no,
they're doing pretty much what we are.
Yeah, that's insane to think of that. That they've nearly had a whole entire team on the ground that has played a game. Like, could have nearly fielded a whole entire team of debutants. That's something they've had this year. So,
well, it's half this.
Yeah, it's quite ugly. And then the scoring, with that whole scoring thing I was bringing up, is it because how young we are, or is it because the stand rule and all these other rules they're bringing in, it really hasn't lifted up the scoring like they've been asking it to do? Because that was the whole idea. They brought in the stand rule, and the 6-6 was the idea, was that it's meant to make the scoring go up. And to me, I think we're at another year low again of scoring.
Yeah, well, there's a graph on Twitter which was posted by Higo from the old Jock Reynolds podcast, and he stopped doing it after about 10 rounds in 2021, which was 2 years after the 6-6 and all that came in, and the scoring had gone down. So we had 9 changes for 2019, it was, which was to open up the game and increase scoring, and that was the lowest scoring season since 1967.
And I'm pretty confident we're probably going to pace to make it lower again this year, because it wasn't.
Yeah,
Hawthorn and Freo game
was another podcast altogether.
Yeah, well, you could make another whole new video of that, really, couldn't you? With the standard of the game, is that because of the clubs, or is it because of the amount of free time these players have off? Because Kane Corn said it at the start of the year, the players have 22 weeks off over the whole entire year. So no wonder their skills are so low. You don't have much time with the players, and the players can't put much up. So, but yeah, want to give us some of your thoughts about the game, because you were there. So I was just watching it on KO. So it was more of every time something was going wrong, I was pulling my hair out because it was ugly, and I'm like, turn it back on, and then I'll give myself a breather, and then I'll turn it back up again.
Yeah, it was there were just a lot of mistakes in the game, missing kicks and fumbles and all that kind of thing. It was just you wouldn't put the game on to show someone the spectacle of AFL football. But just going back to the rules discussion that you brought up, with 6-6, for example, all those rules weren't trialled before they were brought into the game. And if you go back to the 2017 grand final, where right on halftime, Dusty takes that mark to put us 10 points up, we'd realised that his man, when he goes forward, was on the bench, and he had a mismatch. And what we did was we had him in the square, and the other guys were all up onto either the side of the square or on the 50 on the back of the centre square. You can't actually do that
Yeah.
anymore. The rules force 12 blokes to be in the one area. So when they brought that in, they told us, all these one-on-one contests. Well, there's 12 blokes standing there. And that's why you don't get those.
Yeah. Because now you create a congestion in a game now.
Yeah, exactly. You're forcing
what
congestion to be in an area where you don't actually want it to be to achieve what they want. And on that graph I mentioned that Ego posted, to get the scoring up, go back to 2010, which, funnily enough, is before the first sub-rule was introduced, which was the first crackdown on interchange.
Yeah, okay.
So you can read into that whatever you like. So, by not trying rules, they just bring them in. They kind of get the result we get now, and then they bring in other rules like the stand rule to try and sort out rules issues which have been created by the last changes.
Yeah, it's got to. I agree. I think the stand rule is probably the dumbest rule they've brought in ever.
Crazy.
It just doesn't make and it probably was their biggest downfall for Richmond. It seemed to be the moment that stand rule came in, the Richmond, it just killed us as how we played the game. So, what do you think of Jaden Short's? Sorry, mate. What do you think of Jaden Short's game? I watched him. He had a couple, to my opinion, from the camera angle. He just seemed to kind of near the end, kind of reverted back to what he was before he went off into his injury, where he would just get the ball and just thump it on the boot and just get it out of his way.
Yeah, I thought he was all right. He didn't look like it was his first game back. But I was quite happy the way he played earlier on in the game.
Yeah, it was just quite hard to say, considering it wasn't like there was many standouts. Any actually go on? That's a good question. But any standouts at the game while you were there that you could turn around and say that go.
Yep. With our defensive 50, Ben Miller's the guy that sets us up at stoppage. He's the one directing everybody in the area, which is a fantastic sign of leadership. I was really impressed by that. And I thought Tyler Young was sensational. You wouldn't think that was his first game of senior football in over a year. He won a few key one-on-one contests and got the ball out and took a few good marks as well. He was really good.
He definitely.
There were two plays with Houghton where he was on the boundary and he's trying to tap the ball forward, and he's actually trying to out-body players already, even though he's a bit small for that at the moment, to try and get some space. So once he's got a bit of building to his body and be able to do that, he's really going to break some games open. But even for someone of that stage of his career, he's got a lot of good smarts.
Yeah. Well, with Taylor, I was saying about when I was at Taylor Young, it definitely looked like he hadn't missed a single game in AFL. Like, he looked like he just went straight in there, and he looked like he'd been there for quite a while because he was doing really good overhead marks, spoiling. He was on his man at all times, and at the right times he would come back and help somebody else as well at the same time. So I can see him not going out anytime soon. I know Bolter. Some people are saying Bolter had a pretty shit game in the VFL, but he can't play next week because it's over in the WA against the Eagles. Yep. So you can obviously say that Taylor Young has probably kept his game, keeps one more game in there for now. I just don't know what they're going to do when Noel Bolter can come back. Maybe he just goes forward and you take Kaczynski out because Kaczynski wasn't.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was going to show something, because I thought with him in the Kaczynski in there was that a senior player would help the forward line out, but I think he just probably put himself right back to the VFL next week.
Yeah, Cozzy is what he is, unfortunately. I really respect the guy because of the role he's played in our side this year, knowing that he wasn't going to get game time is a real sign of character, because he hasn't dropped his bundle at any stage. He's played very well in the VFL, but he's probably a step below the level required for the senior spot. Yeah. As for Bolter, it's a tough one because he's been out of form anyway. So and next week's actually the last of his curfew weeks. It's expired after that, so it's back to normal again. I think that's not being able to get is the word continuity, where he's been able to play every week, and not having that, I think, is really starting to get to him.
I think he needs a couple of weeks in the VFL just to get away from the media and then come back maybe near the end of the year. I think he'd be so much better for going into next year. I think it's going to be everyone's going to do what they did to Ben Miller last year at the end of the year. Miller had that bad month of football and everyone blasted him from. That's who they thought who he was as a player. This isn't who Noel Bolter is. I know Kane Collins is coming out saying he doesn't know how to play football anymore. I just think it's way too much stress on him right now. I think next year he will have had a full preseason, come back in, and no distractions anymore, and he'll be a lot better for it anyway. So definitely think it's definitely needs this to open up. Oh, there you go. So Hayden's just said it's the 22nd. So is that next? So
Yeah,
he'll
that
miss.
covers
He'll miss
this week. Yeah, he
No,
misses the
he'll miss.
Perth game, obviously. Then
Yeah,
he's
he's back for the.
out of it after that. It'll be
Yeah,
midweek
so
or
he'll be able to
something.
play the Tassie game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll
you
play
can play
against
every game after that.
Yeah, so which is good. We kind of probably don't know if he goes back. Well, the VFL is a bye next week as well, so he's not
Yeah,
going to
I
get any game time. Which is
No.
they have a lot of buys this VFL.
Oh, their fixturing is crazy. I
Yeah,
think
because
the guys in the VFL, there were only 6 of them today. That's how,
Yeah.
because we've got a lot of outs at the moment. I think that they might have a training block on game day next week.
Yeah,
is what they
Yeah.
usually do, and that might be Punt Road. It could be somewhere else. I'm not sure.
yeah. What do you reckon of Taranto and Hopper's game today?
Yeah, I didn't mind them. I thought that goal that Hopper kicked from the boundary.
Oh.
I saw
That's good.
on the replay. It was almost looking at one post. It was that tight of an angle, and it went through.
Yeah.
What a kick that was, and at a very important stage of the game as well.
Yeah. I was just going to say that I think those two realised after halftime that this game was on and there was a chance to get another W under the belt. And I felt both of them as a group lifted. And I'm really, I'll say it before, I'm really happy for them because they got blasted so much in the last 2 years with, they were both really injured. The club wasn't going well and everyone was giving them so much hate. They've come back in and probably going to come first and second in the best and fairest, but I'm more happy because they're kicking goals. And that's what you kind of want to give these players, a bit of reward for effort that they can kick some goals. And we need those guys to kick these goals because obviously we can't kick any more than 8 to 10 goals in a game. So it's good to see these getting a chance to actually show why we actually originally got them into the club.
Yeah, I think they do cop a lot. I think it's unfair because we saw what happened last year to our midfield when they're not there. They've put in a fantastic shift this year. They really deserve overtime for what they're getting paid. Because they're protecting the kids, but they're taking on a huge load themselves.
Yeah, well, they are. I think like if you look at what's here, I do agree with Steve. I definitely think we need to do some more rotations to the middle. I think it was near that last quarter. I was sitting there really hoping they threw. I know it was probably a bit of an ask for Taj to get some time in the middle or Morris Riley Jr. I just felt like we needed to inject a bit of speed and pace near that last 5 to 10 minutes when we had that lead. I was just concerned that the Essendon's midfield were just going to burst away with speed because we played, I think it was Jack Ross, Hopper, and Prestia. And it's just too slow of a midfield at the time. And I was like, this is going to kill us because we keep doing the same thing over and over, and this is what's going to hurt us right now.
Yeah, well, it's a bit hard with CBA tonight. There weren't really any goals.
No.
Doesn't help.
No.
Because I was sitting there in the third quarter, I looked at the score and I thought, this is a shit game.
It did look good on TV.
No. Oh, it was even worse being there. But still, it's better than losing a game like that, I guess. It's good to get a win for the guys.
Got to take it away. There you go.
Banksy, got another player I'd like to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jonty Fall. I'd mentioned previously online that he seems like a confidence player, and when he's lining up for goal, he seems to have that little man on his shoulder giving him a hard time. And I'm really glad that he nailed that goal from the boundary at the end in the last quarter, which was essentially the sealer.
It was a hard goal.
And if you look at the goals he's missed this year, that was a much harder shot. So I reckon he'll get a lot of belief out of that he's actually an AFL player now.
Well, they were reading a stat when he was going for it, and it was the same with Sims. They both got the yips in front of goal right now, and it came up with the stat. It was it from set shot. Jonty had kicked 5 goals and kicked 14 behinds, and I was like, oh, that's not great. But at the same time, I was like, well, that's still a fair bit of opportunities he's given himself to have shots on goal.
Yep.
So it just goes, well, what happens if next year that turns out to be 10-10? It's a totally different type if it's whipped around, or it's 14-5. So it shows you that he's still giving himself the opportunities to have that many shots on goal, not including how many he's probably kicked out in the full or completely did make the distance somehow, even though he can kick about 60 meters nearly on a set shot. So he's showing signs of even that Sims one when he was having a shot on goal, the commentators were saying, oh, he's a pretty good known goal kicker in his under-18s. And I'm like, yeah, but he's got the yips.
soon as I said it, boom, kicked it straight out on the full. So that
With,
one had me pulling my hairs out.
Yeah, with that Sims kick, that pocket, I think there were 4 set shots tonight that went on the full. There was something going on down that corner. I don't know what it was. It's like a Bermuda Triangle or something. It's really weird.
Brad Johnson was saying that. He goes, it's that pocket. Everyone in that pocket, no matter who it was or what team was kicking it, they just could not kick a goal to save themselves.
Couldn't even score. With Jonty's accuracy, if he was kicking straight for goal, he would be on track for about a 20-odd goal year as a rookie. I know that's fantastic. And like you say, the good part of it is that he's giving himself those opportunities. And I like the fact that he's also getting up the ground, which shows good endurance for a kid his age. Once give him a couple of pre-seasons, he's going to be a serious player for us.
There's just the only knock I had him today was there was multiple times where he'd go up for the mark, and then as soon as he hit the ground, he would just stand there and watch it, and you'd be like, just go after it because he's a meter away. As a big guy, you have a lot of pace on you still. So it was just that second efforts which he wasn't given, which just kind of started to drive me a little bit mad in the end. I don't know if he was just tired or what, but it just seemed to not want to chase it. And that kind of irked me a little bit with Jonty.
Yeah, it's been a long year for him. Not that that's an out, but...
No, but I do agree at the same time, considering there's been a few games where he's had to play as the key tall with no Lynch. And he hasn't had a break, which I really thought a few times they would have given him that chance to have a breather. But he could be better for it in the end. So, look, I've got one for you as a player for you. What did you think of Tyler Sonsie? He was made to be sub, and he wasn't too impressed with being made to be the sub as well. A few comments prior was he looked pretty pissed off.
Yeah, I knew he was sub. I don't know anything around that. I didn't really think he did himself too many favours tonight. From what I could tell, there were a couple of things on Twitter I saw at halftime where he was a bit hesitant to go into contests and stuff like that. And with the side that we're developing, he won't last too long if he doesn't get that out of his game. And being sub tonight, maybe the coaches have picked up on that as well. I haven't seen that to know for sure, but it's just a guess. But it's not a great sign if that's the case.
No. Well, I think the only thing that annoyed me about that was when there's the times where, so he had 6 marks, so he was getting around the ground, but there was a lot of times where we were rushing the kick, and he would take a mark, and he actually, as a younger player, he tended to slow us down a bit and goes, hey, we're rushing a bit too much, we need to slow down and create some more space. But that also probably wasn't his fault, considering when the ball went forward, no one seemed to want to move and make any space for anybody, and it was going both ways. Essendon was the exact same. Essendon did not want to make any leading spots for each other, and it just looked really shit. So I get why, but he only had, despite being the sub, he had 59% time on ground, and Taj, who played the 4 quarters, only had 56. So I really thought it would have been Taj who would have been made the sub, and just left Sonsie on there.
Okay.
Which I
can confirm regarding the players not leading. I can confirm that. We get a mark in the back line, and you look down the ground, and no one's really moving. That's why we're stagnant with the ball. That's something we're going to have to work on over summer, I think, is probably a bit of work there that we're not going to be able to do in season to get rid of that, unfortunately.
No. Well, do you know who our forward coach is? Because from what I saw at halftime, it looked like it was Chris Newman. But Chris Newman, to me, was known as a really good defender. So just not sure who our forward coach is right now. Because I saw
I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, because the video of the camera from KO was Chris Newman sitting around with all the forwards, and I'm like, it's not a great sign in my personal opinion. You've got a defender being your forward coach. And a few players where people were saying maybe we should get Fev in or Matthew Lloyd. I'm not against not bringing Matthew. I'd rather bring Matthew Lloyd in if I could.
Yeah. A forward to have the.
It's got to be a forward.
I like the idea of having coaches coaching an area in which they played. I think Morris is our backline coach, and that's where he played, which makes sense.
Yeah, and they had Zach Zeeble was our midfield coach, which he was a good midfield player when he was playing. So there you go. Chris Newman is our forward coach, which to me is a bit of a worry, considering he was never a forward. I know he's been around quite a while. He's been at Hawthorn and he's done a fair few coaching, but that's just a bit of a concern of having a defender as a coach, considering how bad we kick for goal right now. Considering I think maybe the last 2 months we've kicked more behinds than goals. It's just it's a red flag for me.
Yeah, and also our leading patterns are no good either. We don't have any because the guys don't move. It's all long and high under the head. That's how they call it to come in. So when you're watching on KO tonight and you see the way we kick it in, that's why. No one's leading.
No.
They've got nowhere to get to. They're not even trying to lead to create space for someone else or anything like that. Again, that's something that we'll need to work on over summer for sure.
Is that because Lynch is out, or is it the same when Lynch is playing, you reckon, as well?
Same. It's been the same all year.
That's a concern. Why wasn't that?
Yep.
Yeah. I know you can't address that in season, but to me, it's definitely something you could try to find a way to put a Band-Aid over it for the rest of the season to start building for that for next year. But is that the midfield as well, to me? Like, is it both? Is it midfield and forward line coming in? Is it the midfields aren't delivering it great, so the forwards are just... Yeah.
It's the same everywhere. There's not really a connection between the lines, I think, is the issue. So the mids will say, if they were on tonight, they'd say, well, the forwards don't lead. And they would say, well, they're not kicking it to me.
Yeah.
You've got to lead. You've got to create space, even if it's for someone else to lead into. You've got to work more as a team, and there's no connection there.
Yeah, well, you would remember in I think it was the second quarter, this is how it felt to me watching it. It was Richmond struggled to get it in the forward line, and when it got in, it came out real quick, and then it just looked like Essendon's forward line was just empty, and it was Nate Caddy and I think one other player, and they just had plenty of places to lead, and they were just getting marks 24/7. We're just lucky they didn't kick straight in that bloody second quarter and third quarter.
Yeah. Well, the other part too is that when we turn the ball over in the back line, we don't have anyone forward of centre either, or at least certainly not in the forward 50. So we can't actually launch it forward because when we get there, we've got no one to kick it to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it's not great signs. Anything? Yeah. Any other positives you came out of the game?
Sorry?
Any positives you got coming out of this game? At least some sort of positive?
It finished. No, it's nice to get the win for us. I mean, we didn't get a goal for 2 quarters, I think it was, but we didn't really drop off, if that makes any sense. Which is a good sign it's a change from recent games.
Consistency, at least. There's one player I want to talk about before we get close to ending it. Morris Rowley Jr., what do you reckon of his game? Because I thought he put more pressure on than probably any other player that Richmond had out on the ground. He just seemed to, second efforts never seemed to die. There was that tackle up against I think it was the flank on the boundary line, and he got McGrath on the ball, and you could see him just trying to catch his breath back for the amount of efforts he put in. And that's probably obviously something people have been saying about him, that it's what he's good for, and that's why I thought he needs to be in the midfield. So that's why I thought that pressure is something we're missing. I just think people probably... I know he got 1 goal. I think he had 9 disposals, but I'd love to see what his pressure act was at. He'd be through the roof.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Once Wheelo ratings updates, I'll have a look at that. The one thing I did notice with him tonight, he's got to keep his feet more. And I know that the ground was slippery, but he was in contest and he would slip over and the opponent's off with the ball, so he's got to keep his feet. But he wasn't alone with that one. That's the one thing I'll say on him. But I think his pressure's elite. That's what he does. So I like him in the midfield for that reason. Plus, he's got speed, which is what we lack in there.
He's got to play half. If he's going to play, he's got to always play half forward or then go middle. He can't play that deep forward pocket because it just doesn't work for him when he gets jammed up in that, and he got no room to run. Because the week before, when he was up the ground, he was magnificent against Geelong. So that's what I want to say. That's what you want to see. I got one for you. I think this might probably make you guys angry at the game. Ryan Mansell, what the hell was going on with Ryan Mansell? It's just like him and Roberts just wanted to punch on, and that's all that they were worried about for the whole entire game. And he gave away a few stupid free kicks from it.
Okay.
Ryan Mansell.
I didn't notice that, to be honest.
Oh, really?
From where I am, I'm up one end of the ground, so I'm basically see the forwards for half a game, pretty much. So when it's up the other end, I don't see any of that. But if that's what's going on, he needs to get that out of his game, because giving frees, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, he gave 2 free kicks away to is it Archie Roberts? Essendon's back.
Yep.
Yeah, he gave 2, and they were at each other nearly from the moment that game started. They were both at each other.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I think Archie Roberts just got the better of him as well, because he got, I think Mansell had 5 disposals, 4 kicks, 1 handball, 2 marks, 3 tackles.
That's it. And to me, it's not enough from a player who last year kicked nearly, was it 33 goals? I think it was last year. Ryan Mansell kicked, I think he was our leading goal kicker.
He had a good year.
Yeah. So I thought he'd come in and that would probably replicate what he did last year. And just to me, he hasn't. And today was just another game of someone going to his skin. And I think he needs to be put back into the VFL. And like Steely Green had another good game kicking a bag of goals. So I just think he needs to be dropped here. There you go, right there. And I'm not a fan of Mansell. All he does is give away, which I would love to see the stats of how many free kicks he's given away for this year, because he's given away too many for a player that's not getting enough of the ball.
Yep. You'll be able to find that information on, have you heard of Willow Ratings?
No, I have not. I have now.
Okay. That's if you can't find a stat on that website, it doesn't exist. But everything's per game though, so you'll be able to see per game, and you can more or less, like if it's one per game he's played, however many games, that's how many he's given away. But the information for that will be on there. That will probably update after tonight's game, maybe tomorrow morning, at a guess. I haven't checked it tonight since I got home.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to find any information on there.
Yeah.
It's got team stats and player stats as well.
Oh, cool. Maybe good to use for some more videos to break some sort of players down when I want to do players individually. So,
yep.
Right. Well,
it's got everything on there. It's got pie charts, everything. Yeah. Heat maps as well. So if you wanted to really drill down into certain players, you can go through that. I think I probably will be in the off season. Yeah, it's got scatter charts on there too, which is good for having a look at the list. You can look. It's like there's two parts to the graph. You got I look at age and player rating, which is a good idea it gives you an idea of what our rebuild looks like, and you can compare each team as well. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like if you really want to look at stats, it's got everything you want on there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's getting quite late, so I thought.
Yeah.
You want to give us your last? Well, you'll probably be tired because you've been at the game. So, do you want to give us some last thoughts before I end the stream?
Just enjoy the win because we won this week. Carlton, Collingwood, and Essendon all lost, and it's even better when we beat one of them. And as a bonus, the Soups down the highway lost as well.
Oh, Hawthorn, yeah, they lost. They lost by 13.
Yeah, they lost as well.
Oh yeah, John got smashed. That Cabin, what's his name? Aaron Cabin, looking like a good target now.
Yeah, he's having a break. He was really good against us, unfortunately, but it's good that he's going on with it. He kicked 6 today from what I saw. I didn't see any of the game because I was travelling through the game. Yeah, I think 6.
I was watching ours, so I just saw that when I was going through it earlier, yeah. So it was 111 to 85. They won by 26. So,
yeah.
They died off at the end.
I haven't seen the ladder after today. Is it the Dogs that are out? Are the 8 at the moment?
I think so. I'll check in a second for you. Aaron Cabin kicked 6 goals, 1, and had 15 disposals and had 505 metres gained and only played 81% time on ground.
Yeah.
He's
done really well.
Yeah. Had that one breakout game and now he's good to go. Bulldogs are now out of ladder. So it's Collingwood, Brisbane, Crows, Geelong, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, the Giants, and Fremantle.
Yep.
So now,
are they out by a game or on percentage?
They're out by a game. Wow. They're not out by percentage. Right. They actually are second overall in percentage. So the Dogs. The problem, that's what I was saying to my cousin. I said the problem with Dogs is that the Dogs they beat the teams that are shit and they beat them well.
Yeah.
But they just can't beat anybody. I don't think they beat anybody in the top 8. So I just don't see the Dogs being able to ever win a flag.
Yeah, I think
they can't beat someone above them.
Wrong. I could be wrong, but I think they've won 7 now against the top 8. Because they were 1-6 before this week.
Yeah, okay.
Then so that's something they're going to have to overcome and quickly.
Yeah. Well, St Kilda's dropped down pretty bad. So has Melbourne and Essendon and Port Adelaide and Sydney have made their way back up the ladder now after playing us.
Ideally Melbourne win tomorrow for the death ride. Because I think they play North, don't they?
Yeah, they play North tomorrow, but we would still stay behind them because they've got that draw.
Yeah.
So they're on 18 points.
If 16. Yeah, if North do win tomorrow, they'll jump Melbourne and St Kilda.
Oh, shit, yeah.
St Kilda play tomorrow, so they do. But
so if they
we need North to keep losing.
if North will win tomorrow, they will. Oh no, they only jumped Melbourne and St Kilda, so they'll go to 14th. Yeah,
Yeah.
which we don't
We
want
need
that
them
to
to
happen
lose.
because that means our spot goes. Yeah, our spot goes up on that. No, we don't want that either, do we?
Ideally for the memes, I'd like to finish above North because it makes some good memes.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the fixture, we still have was it North?
West
We
Coast
still
next
have
week.
North and West Coast to go. So we got West. I know we got West Coast over there, but you just don't know. I just don't think you really know what West Coast is going to give you.
Yeah, I know. The West Coast over there is not the easiest game either.
No, but we don't play bad over there either. Like we don't play bad over in WA. So they are the odds to beat us. They're $1.67 to our $2.22. Obviously, maybe if we weren't as injured, but maybe this week give us a bit of confidence going in. And then I think we versus Collingwood after that, and then it's Gold Coast. We versus Gold Coast again after that. I think it's round 22. We have North Melbourne. No, that's St Kilda.
Then we've got Geelong.
No, then we got round 23. Then we've got North Melbourne over at Hobart at Tassie. So I still think there's a chance we can at least win one or two more games with at least. Well, St Kilda. Who knows with St Kilda as well? So it's not like St Kilda's doing great either.
And to be fair, to beat West Coast next week, we are going to have to play 4 quarters to do it.
No, you just got to play 2.
If we a quarter, they could get on a run because they'll have the home crowd behind them as well.
Yeah, that's true. And we don't have.
So it can be done if we're good enough.
We'll find out. We'll definitely find out. I definitely think there's a good chance we win another game. Like I thought we had more of a chance of beating West Coast than we did Essendon. So just thought with Essendon seemed to be the team that was always hurt, but they always seem to find a way to win games that they shouldn't. And at one stage they were, almost in the top 8. So just goes to show you that if your system's right, you can win. So, all right, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. You are technically the first fan cam guest of all ever on this channel, so I really do appreciate it. I know you've had to drive or quickly get on a train back to your place, so it would have been exhausting, but I do appreciate it very much.
I'll finish with a stat of the day.
Here we go.
7,616 days since they won a final.
Yeah, make that
and I kid you not, there was someone. I kid you not, there was someone sitting next to me yelling that out to their players when they were near the fence. True story. And he was even asking them, "Were you born?"
Yeah, it's a good question there.
It was a good laugh, and for a game that didn't provide too many highlights, that was pretty funny.
I think the only highlight we could probably say that came out of that game was Taj Houghton. So
yeah, true.
That goal. Yeah. Oh, okay. So maybe Hopper's goal as well, because that's quite a goal. That's gonna be a goal of the year contender. So
it should be.
All right, guys.
And also, Luke Trainer's one-handed mark on the boundary.
Yeah. I did mention before Luke Trainer, he just almost kicked 2 goals, and I was like, he'd be pretty pissed off because he loves a goal. I think he hurt his thumb on that last one because when the video shows when he marked it, he rolled and he was sitting there playing with his thumb. So I think that's why that last shot on goal was quite shit because he was shaking. I don't know if you could see it from where you were, but he was sitting there shaking his hand. He was pulling at his thumb and it looked like and then he went straight off the ground as well. So
hopefully he's all good.
Just guard his thumb. Yeah, I do because he's probably the most consistent rookie we have so far this year.
Yeah, you wouldn't pick him as a first-year player, that's for sure.
No, you still won't get a NAB Rising Star award. It's rigged.
Oh, I think Shifter will be knocking on. Greeners will be knocking on Shifter's door as we speak.
Probably. You'd hope so. You'd have to hope so.
Yeah.
No, look, I do agree with it. Yeah, definitely. All right, everyone, thank you for joining for this whole. I was originally going to do about half an hour if no one jumped on. I'm now about an hour and a half. So, it's a bit of fun anyway. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys. Catch you later.
All right. Cheers. Thanks.